Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we interviewed Jakub Kozlowski. Jakub is a fellow tech tutor who's also talking about Scala. He's an extremely experienced Scala developer and well-known person in the community. Yeah, the first part already landed on his channel. I guess you can check it out here. So now let's get it started and let's go to the part 2. So I have prepared a special task for you. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Have a read through that. I'll send you the JSON that you will have to use, but have a read through the description and let me know if you have any questions. If you need to check what the anagram is, feel free to do this, and feel free to share your screen with your IDE, preferred IDE. Once you're ready. And on a side note, you can use whatever library you want to have, and also you can make any assumption that you want to have in this to solve this coding challenge. But please just make a note of an assumption that you're going to make.
Sure. So I think I'm familiar with the term now. And okay, let me just go through all of these things. Can I actually mark things?
Sure.
Okay, I don't think I can draw here, but let's just go through it. So, okay. This example in lines 3 and 4, I assume that is in line with the actual contents of the file. It's not made up. It's actually what we expect to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the file is a bzipped archive. So am I supposed to also unpack this as part of the program, or can I do this on my side?
You can use the JSON. This is the example of a JSON.
Okay.
So
okay, so I'll just treat it as this JSON. Okay, can you go back to the description? Okay, use our case remove punctuation. Okay. Sure, that sounds good. Let's get to it. I will share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, you should see my editor.
Yeah, I can see it.
So I have this file right here. It's already unpacked, and I'm just going to maybe use cat to get this. Get a couple of lines just to see what it looks like. So, okay, so it's JSON lines, so I can treat each line as JSON. Okay. Okay, and how large is this file? It's 10,000 lines, as predicted from the name. Okay, so I am not sure it will fit into memory, so we will probably have to do some sort of streaming or lazy loading of the contents. But for now, I think I'll just get the first, just try to read a couple of lines of that. So I expect this program to be quite small. Actually, let me just take the camera output to the other screen so I can see you. I expect this program itself to be quite small, so I will not go with any crazy complicated libraries and so on. Yeah. I will probably not start with FS2 for dealing with the file. I think I'll just use something simple like oslib.
Okay.
So I'll get that. So I'm going to use oslib, and that is the latest version. I'm using Scala CLI for the build server.
Sure.
And of course, this extension doesn't know that. I need to change this by hand. And I think I'll use Scala 2.13 for this because I don't think we need a lot of Scala 3 features, and the editor support isn't great yet.
Yeah, sure.
So I have a worksheet that should enable me to just see what I'm doing immediately. So if I do OS, I should check if I can check if the file exists. So this would be something like that. OS current working directory, and the name of the file. Okay, I'm really happy it didn't blow up my editor when I accidentally opened it. Okay, so it can see the file exists, so I'm going to extract this to the file path variable. And because I know it exists, I don't need to check that again. So yeah, okay, I will disable GitHub Copilot for this.
Okay, sure.
If I can just... Okay. Yeah, okay. That would be a bit like cheating. Although maybe not in the future. Maybe this will be something you're expected to use. Okay, so file path. Yeah, so let's get like the first some lines of it. And I'm going to use read, and I think there's a stream. Also read lines. Let's see what's in that. Okay, that gives you like all the lines, I think. So it will not be lazy. Let's try to be lazy. So stream. And now I'll give it the path. And let me not save this yet. This might be a resource, something that we're expected to close when we're done with it. Otherwise, we might be leaking it. So I'll try to do using resource, I think. Yeah, just to make sure that it gets closed when I'm done with it, especially because I'm going to keep rerunning this. So this is my stream of lines. Okay, maybe stream is not the thing I want actually. Because, wait. So this API allows me to read bytes, write bytes, and I'm actually not sure I want to use this because it seems to be a little too low level. So let me see what else we have. We have input stream and bytes, chunks, lines. Yeah, lines also seems to be eager. Okay, I think I've changed my mind. I'll actually use something higher level. OSLib is not going to be it. So I think I'll go back to FS2, and for this I'll have to go to a full-blown Scala file. So instead of OSLib, we'll be using FS2 IO. And this is the latest, I think. It's going to be just easier to be resource safe and also avoid loading the whole file. So yeah, hopefully better.
Sure.
I'm going to have an IO app. That's my entry point. And I need to implement this run method. And I think at this point, I could actually use Scala 3 because it's not a worksheet anymore. Okay, so as part of my run, I will try to read the whole file, not into memory, but I'll just iterate over the lines. So I think it's read all, and I need the path. Also, because I'm going to deal with lines and I will be treating them as text, I can use read UTF-8 lines. So I'll pass the path. This might be it, actually. So I have read the lines. That's going to be a stream of strings. Maybe we can map them to 1 and fold monoid. This will give me an IO, compile fold monoid. An IO of int. And now I can print that. Let's see. Okay, it compiles, so it surely will work.
So what does the map function over there? Why do we have mapping to 1?
So I am mapping every line in the file to a 1, so that it'll be like if I have 10k lines, I will have 10k elements that are equal to 1. And when I do fold monoid, I'm just saying like fold this whole stream using the monoid of the type that we have, which in this case is int. So it will just add these ones to compute the final result.
Okay.
So when I run that, okay, it's giving 1K and 1. I suppose there's an extra empty line at the end, so we can filter the non-empty lines. Actually, I should use strip to handle like all white space. And this should be now 10K. Okay?
Yep, it is.
So I can change this to, instead of just folding, because we will not be doing this, I can do something like take the first 5 and maybe debug. That will print them. And compile drain to make this NIO that just runs the stream. Okay, so we have 5 lines. Maybe 2 will be enough. Right. So maybe back to the task description. I don't actually have it on the screen, but if I remember well, we need to get the commit names. So we will definitely need to parse this as JSON somehow. So for this, I think I will use Cersei. It's the library I'm the most familiar with, and it's relatively pleasant to use if you are experienced with it. So
I think it's like sort of like a default JSON serializer for Scala at the moment.
Yeah, these days it is the sort of the default, but also I've used the JSON editor recently, and it has some nice parts of it, like being extra fast. But the API is not great, and it doesn't give you a JSON AST. So we cannot easily traverse these structures if you don't know exactly what you need to decode to. In this case, we do know, but still, I find this API easier to use.
Sure.
So I'm going to need Cersei core. Because we are on Scala 3, I don't need anything else, actually. And the latest version is, let's use this one, as it's not a milestone.
I think it's like kind of funny that almost like 80% of Scala projects are using Cersei, and it doesn't have like the like a production ready release,
Yeah, it's interesting, but there's let me see. Yeah, that's probably the most popular library like this in the Scala ecosystem that still has a 0 in front of it. There's also Doobie. It's not that popular, but it also doesn't have a 1.0 without like an RC yet. But yeah, it's true. Let's just print that again. So we need the commit name. Okay, I think I need something to just show me like more of the structure of this file. So I have this program called dless, and let's try that. Okay, that's good. So these are push events. Can you bring up the task again?
Yeah, sure. I can. Do you know what? I can send you the description.
Yeah, just give me the text, please.
I think it will be easier. Okay. I've sent you the message on this chat, so if you can see if you got it.
Okay, got it. I'll create the file here. Okay, commit messages for each author name in the event type push event. Okay, so we will need for sure the author name. And can I search? That seems to be author.name. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so a push event has a payload. First, we have the actor, so the person who pushes. But I guess that's not the same as the author name. So we have the payload, the commits, author name, and message. Okay, I think we will mostly be interested in just basically the content of the commit object. So I will need to model the things that I'm interested in my Scala. So I will surely I need the payload and some of that. I guess the question is, am I guaranteed to have only push events in this file?
Assume not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it would be great to check, just filter out the events with the type push event. Okay, that is also possible. So I think I'll model like an. Actually, we can start with like a push event. So I'm going to have a case class of a push event, which will have this payload.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use push event.payload. Of course, yeah, that's not how you do it. Object push event. And now case class payload. And I'm going to stop at that because I still need to deal with possibly other events. At this point, I would probably write a test, but I don't think we have the vast amount of time that it takes to write tests. I would just...
we can skip the test for...
Yeah, let's just skip that for today.
Just for this task, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see. We also have other events, so that makes it easier to test because we can just use the real data. Okay. So I think I want like an event type, like an enum maybe, which is going to encapsulate push event and also other events, and then we will filter these out. And I'm wondering what the easiest way to do this with Circe will be. I'm not sure, but we can try with push event like this, and maybe something like, okay, that's not how you, yeah. Let me start with that. So I think it's this case, push event, and I think I would need to do something like this. Let's get it to compile and then see if we can clean up.
Sure.
Event.push event.payload. I'm not too happy about this, like this triple nesting, but also it is a payload of the push event. I'm not sure if other events would have the same kind of payload. Maybe I can just call it push event or push payload and put it on the top level. So we don't have that much stuff, that much nesting. So there's going to be a push event, and also it's called like a catch-all for other event with like a name or like type name. It's just going to be a string. Something like that, yeah. So I think I will have to write a special codec for event, but for everything else I should be able to derive codecs. So let's start with the payload. It's an empty object right now, so I think I can just do derives codec as object. And that seems to work. Let me just update my Scala and tconfig because it's complaining. Okay, much better. So we have the payload. And I'm pretty sure I cannot do derives here, but I'm going to try anyway. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. That's okay. So in event, I will define my own codec. And I think we just need a decoder, really.
Yeah.
So I'll just do, because I only need to read it, I'm not going to write these files. So I'll take a decoder of events. And so what do we need? We first need to read the type field of the payload, well, the event, and it's just a string. So I'm going to start with that, decode the string at the type field, and based on this, I should be able to flat map. So this is exactly what I mentioned before. I'm using the result of this first effect, which is the decoder, to determine what the next decoder is going to be. So if this is the push event string, then I will do something that decodes push event. And I think I need to widen this. Okay, yeah, I will need to widen it here. I would like to widen it, but I cannot without the class import. So what this is going to do, I'm going to go, actually, again, we're going back to the previous questions. I'm going to go from decoder of push event to decoder of event, thanks to covariance of decoder. But decoder, I don't think is actually covariant in the type. It is covariant sort of conceptually because it is a functor and a monad. So I'm using functor syntax from cats to go from f of a to f of b, where b is greater than a. And this actually is going to be zero cost because this performs a cast. Well, constant cost. It's not going to, for things like lists, it wouldn't even traverse the list.
Exactly.
So we just need to this. And in the case of other events, oh, this is a great example of why I don't like significant indentation. I could write this in Scala too in this format, but now I have to do this. So other, that's going to be just a decoder of other events, but this one is simply enough that we can just say decoder const and event, other. Now I think I could derive this codec, but I'll need to do this in like an extra val so that it doesn't happen every time I decode an event. Like, okay, I'll do it here and then show what the difference is. So derived push event. Yeah, so this, I don't think it's great because it's, yeah, like this code will run every time I see a push event. So I'll move this out to a new val and I put it somewhere here. Push event decoder. I don't think it needs to be an implicit because why? It's only used once. And this might work. So I used FS2 to get the lines. We could use something like FS2 Circe, but because they are line delimited, I don't think there's a need. So I can do eval map and take this string and parse that and decode that into my
and what's the difference between eval map and the regular map on a string?
So map was just like a pure transformation, a pure function that just takes a value from the stream and returns another value. With eval map, I have the ability to run effects of that stream. So in this case, IO. I can return something like an IO of event. That's actually what I'm going to try to do.
Okay.
Technically, this isn't going to have any like IO effects. It's just going to be either of some decoding error or a Circe error, but it's easier to work with IO if you already have IO.
Yeah.
So I'll need to parse this, and I think that requires an extra dependency like Circe parser. And now we can try Circe parser decode. And my input is S, and my type is going to be event. And as I mentioned, this gives me an either. And I can now lift it to IO with the lift to operator. And that should compile. I don't think there's like an either map, but we can check. Yeah, there's some other maps, but this eval map filter, and I guess map filter might do, because we will decode and then ignore the ones that are not push event. But also, yeah, I think I wanted this to fail if we see something that doesn't have the type field. So I will keep this as is. I'll just make some refactoring, and I usually leave this like that. I don't import this method because it's rarely used, and the parser is kind of, yeah, let's keep it like this. So at this point, I would try to run this. Okay, it seems like it's working. We have a push event with no payload. Well, there is a payload, it just doesn't have anything because we didn't decode anything. but it seems like the decoder I made works. So I think that part is fine. Now we should probably ignore these non-push events. So I will do a collect. Actually, I'll do it after the take, and then we can talk about where to put it. So I only want push events. And I'm wondering whether I will actually need anything that is not in the payload. I think we could actually just extract the payload without, instead of just filtering the event, I will just extract the payload like this. Because all the information that we need is going to be there.
Yeah.
And because I have a take here, that means that we will first take just 2 lines after decoding, so still 2 elements. And then out of those, we will filter out just the push events and get their payloads. So I should see just 1 line in the output.
Yeah.
But if I move the take below, I'll see possibly 2. Yeah, there's 2 because there's definitely more than one
push
event in the input. So let's add all the other fields that we need to decode, and then we can work on the logic. So, okay, I think the terminal is going crazy here, but yeah. So we have the payload. Let me just make sure it actually is in the payload. Okay. Oh, this one has no commits. That's not great. This one. Okay, so there's a payload, there are commits, and each commit has this author. Let's try to do it like that. I will definitely need like a commit type and an author type and a message. I actually think that's on the commit level. And author is going to have a name. And push payload is going to have just commits, which is going to be a list of commit.
Mm-hmm.
Now it complains, yeah, that's something we should probably report to the compiler. I don't think this is the right error to show here. Well, it complains about max inlines, but I think if we increase those, we'll still get some sort of, yeah, it's not a problem of too many inlines. It's actually the problem that we don't have a decoder for these 2. And now it should be solved. So maybe not a Scala compiler issue, but a Circe derivation issue. So at this point, I can run that program again. Okay, yeah, we have everything. Okay. Cool, let's look at the task again. Okay, so the CSV file, we can deal with this later. I think I just want some sort of output first. I guess we can try to replicate this final structure first. So something like output line, author, and then n-grams. Actually, this would be like a list of string. I guess. Yeah, something like that. So this is what we need to gather. Okay, I think we will ultimately have to read the whole thing into something like a map, because we need to do this by each author name. So we will need to sort of collect all these commits by author. So at that point, we will be able to escape the streaming part, at least to some extent. So I think we can do that now. So I'll try to get that. And it's going to be basically a list of commits by author. Well, like a map of commits by author. So I don't think I need the take or the debug. Is there a group by? I think there's a group adjacent by. So I think I'll still have to collect this to a list first. So something like compile to a list. And that's going to be an IO. So at this point, I can start thinking about extracting some stuff from this. Like that's going to be our first step, just reading the payloads. So read payloads. It's going to be the first step. I think that I can get rid of the main for now. And that is an IO of list of push payload. So again, this is an IO, so I can keep this as a val, but it's not actually going to run before I pass it to some other IO that goes all the way to the runtime, like run. So now I will want to get from this to, well, something like group payloads from a list of push payload to something like a map of author and commit. It's going to be a non-empty list of commit. Some sort of non-empty sequence. We're going to traverse it a couple times, so I think a list is fairly efficient. So we'll need something like that. And then, of course, my editor messed up again. So I'm going to read payloads, then map that to group payloads. And maybe for now we'll just print like the size of this. Okay. So I think this is a simple group by, right? So there's group by null from cats. And this one I actually don't know. Group by null A. Interesting. So we can do grouping with effects as well.
Yeah.
But I think we don't have any effects. It's just group by null. We're going to group by. Interesting. Right. So the push event doesn't necessarily have commits from a single author. So I think I'll need to flatten this first. Just flatten to the commits. And now I can group by. Interesting. Okay, I may have messed up. Let's see again. Author. Oh, we didn't actually put this in the payload, did we? This commit, message string, and author. Yeah.
We're missing the other.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe let's get back to read payloads then. And so like compile drain. No, we did that already. Compile to list. Okay, I'm going to do this take again just to see what we have and print the result. Commit. Author. Okay, here it is. Okay, so we have the author. That seems to work fine. So let's get back to what we had before. So I'll take all the commits and group them by author, hopefully. By author name, I think we can just have that. But we need, we need the whole author. I think we can keep using that because there's nothing else in the author, just the name.
Yeah.
So I group by the author, and for group by null, I think I need an order instance for author. And yeah, I guess we can define one. So it's going to be order of author, and then we're going to define it as order by name. So yeah, the sorting and the grouping will use the name to consider these values equal and to sort them. So that is supposedly it. But also, do we really need all the commits, or do we need just the messages? I think the message would be enough. So maybe this is a good place to use an opaque type. So in the commit object, I'll define an opaque type for the name, a message, actually. And we're going to see if Cersei can handle that. Not really. I guess I would have to define that instance here. There's going to be a codec of message. And we cannot say codec of string because that would be infinite loop. So we need to do... I'll just do decoder. No, wait, I can't because, if I just do decoder, then we will not get this. You know what? I think I'll simplify and just deal with strings. We will pretend that we know it's a string.
Yeah, string is fine for now.
Just to save some time, yeah. So I'll have a non-empty list of strings. and I will. So in the past, you would do map values. I think it's deprecated now.
Yeah.
Or is it? It might not be.
I think it was.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can do fmap. That's like using the fact that map is a functor in cats. And I will map all the commits to their messages. So that is fine. Let's see how many we have. Okay, just 2 authors. I guess I still have that take.
Yeah.
That was going to be a huge bug. Okay, 280 to 2,800 authors. That doesn't seem like... Yeah, that seems like a lot of authors, actually. It would be nice to see them, so I'll print some of them. Like maybe let's take just 10 authors, so keys take 10. Okay, seems legitimate. But yeah, these are scary names. Let's take more. Who the hell are those people? Okay, seems legit.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have grouped them, and what's the next step? We still need something like convert. I'm just going to call it this way for now. But we need to go from an author and commits to an output line. I think this is basically the tool of our work.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will have some sort of write lines. So we'll go from probably a list of output lines to something that's in fact that writes up. So I think we can focus on convert now and then try to write the lines.
Sure, sounds good.
So again, we need top 5 word 3 grams. So there will be at most 5 values here, and they will be made of the 3 consecutive words in the commit list. So I would like to know how many at most commits this might have, but also commits are... Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's going to be quite a lot of strings. Okay, let me think about that some more. So first, I think we need to convert every commit to a list of words. And the question is, do we need to keep the commit structure? And I think probably, because like if we flatten all the commits together by words, we could have like one word from the end of one commit, and then 2 words coming from the beginning of the next commit. Mm-hmm. That might be a bug. Probably is. So I think we need to stay within the commits for quite a lot of time. So yeah. Okay. There might be an extra step here. So convert might have like one step where we find like all the n-grams, and then an extra step that just takes the top ones. I guess I'll just try to wing it. So let's take the commits by that author, and these are commit messages actually. Like messages. So for each of these, we'll have to split it into words and remove punctuation and go to lowercase. So I'll do just that. I think I'll use this. I never remember if it's W or S, but I think it's W. Let me just confirm that. So something like hello world, exclamation mark, nice word. If we split that by this, yeah, that's not what I wanted. Maybe it's S. Yeah, we want to keep the words, not split by them. So something like this looks roughly right.
Yep.
And I think we will just filter out the ones that are made of alphanumeric characters. So split by this and filter. The word has to be this. Can we check that? No, I think we have to do like a for all. Or we can do another regular expression just to see if it's something like that. At least one letter. I think that makes sense. So if we do filter, that seems to be fine. What if we have a space at the end? Yeah, I think that still works. Okay, let's try that. So normally, again, I would write tests for this because it's potentially edge KC function, but that's just going to take some time of this. So yeah, I think that filter works fine. It's an array of string. We need a non-empty list. I think I will go with just a two-list conversion so that we have a list of words here. So these are now words in all the commit messages. I don't think we want that. We need to work within a commit first. So I will have words like that. And now we need to compute the n-grams of these. So n-grams. Wait, do I already have a list like that? Interesting. Why does it suggest that name? It's only using the class here. But yeah, we will need like a function that is like make n-grams of words. And we could hard code the number inside, but I think we might as well just have a parameter. I think the implementation will still not change much between those.
Yeah.
If we can assume that it's like a positive number.
Yeah, let's keep this as a parameter at the moment.
So this will be something like words, list of string, and length going to be an int, and that's going to be a list of string, I think. Well, technically like a list of this many elements of string, but we are definitely not going to go that far in the types today, I think. So that is fine. And words in it is an array. I think I'll just need to convert it to a list. And at this point, I think we can actually flatten here. And yeah, I'll just create a new type for this just to make it simpler for myself. I'll just have like a wrapper for the list. Words. So then we can have a list of n-gram. And here as well. So after all that stuff, that is going to be a list of n-gram. And we'll just need to find like the top ones. Okay, let me just confirm that I understand the problem here. So top 5, 3 grams. So if I have like the same 3 words 10 times and I have some other 3 words twice, then I need the one with the 10, right? The one that like just has the duplicate n-grams. And there was a bot somewhere, so I suppose we will have something from well, for that bot, it's going to be a relatively obvious top elements. But yeah, let's see. So we have the list for the author. Yeah, okay. So yeah, now we need to compute like the top most frequent elements. The question is like how many of these we will have. I can do the naive implementation and see if it works in reasonable time. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure. We can think about the performance
Yeah.
later.
So I would just do group by identity. Maybe group by null, or maybe not. Well, we should be consistent. Let's just do group by null. So that'll give me like a map. I first need this order instance. Okay, again, straightforward. And out of this, I think I'll want like the top. Yeah, let's take this and convert it to a list again. And sort and reverse. We could do this in one go, but if it's not going to be a huge list, it might not change much.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just going to go with the naive implementation. And the contents of this, actually, I don't think we need to sort. Like we can replace the values with just like a. I don't think I need the amount of occurrences. I just need the words. So I think I just need the keys.
Yeah.
So keys to list sorted reverse. So that's a list of n-gram, which is this. And I just need the author next to it. Of course, I need to take not like the whole thing, but just the top 5. So when we do sorted reverse, that'll give me the highest ones in the beginning. So I need to just take the first 5. I guess we don't need the reverse. We could take right. That's going to be the same thing, but in the wrong order. We would need to sort again. Well, reverse the result. It's simpler conceptually if we do it this way. I think I'll just do that. So take 5 off the top. So let's call it maybe top 5 n-grams. And I'll give it a type because it's a pretty long chain of calls. And yeah, now my favorite piece of this whole thing, we need to actually find the n-grams. And for this, I think I might want to create a worksheet. So demo worksheet. So because this is in my main, I can put it like that. So let's say we have the words like hello, world, goodbye, world, and I will use the length of 3, which should get 2 values, I think. What's the problem here? Might be. Okay, no, for some reason it doesn't like that. Oh yeah, this goes here. Yeah, Metals just doesn't like my worksheet for some reason. Fine. It also says there are several main classes because this is a main class. Okay, there will be no worksheet. We'll just replace our main. So I'm going to do print line. And that's going to be make n-grams hello world by cruel world. Something like that. And we want the length of 3. Just run it as a sanity check. It should blow up. Yep. Okay. Now how do we do this? There is a function in the standard library that does something similar. Maybe it will work. There's like subsequences. No. Let me just quickly check if there's one that does what I need. There was combinations, but that's something different. There's permutations, but there might not be anything like that. I guess we'll have to implement it by hand. No, wait, there was one. There's sliding. I think this is what we need. So if we do sliding with the size of length and step equal to 1, I will name these. This might actually do what I want. The results will have to be n-grams, so we need to map that and convert back to list. And if that works, I'll be very happy. Hello world, goodbye. World, goodbye, crawl. Goodbye, crawl world. I think this is the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's very good. Okay, so I guess at this point we could print all these output lines and see how bad it gets. I think we know that it's going to be like 2,800 lines, so maybe we can limit that. But let's try to connect the whole thing first. So we have group payloads, and then we have that's going to be this map, right? So now we can map the whole result. So we have author and anonymous list of string that matches our convert signature. And in Scala 3, I can do this, I think, just like that. Yeah. In Scala 2, we have to do something like tupled. And the result here is an iterable of output lines, which makes sense. We can just take 20. Okay, let's try that. It might be very bad. We'll see. Yeah, it's not very readable. Let me see. Okay, let's take one. Okay, that's simple enough. So I had this guy, this person, with delete sort. Is that like the full commit name? Because it seems to be. Let's try to find them in the file. So I have this commit. Yeah, it says delete sort, and that's probably the only commit by them. Yeah, that is the only commit by them, so it checks out. So again, this was supposed to be for each author name, we find the top 5 word n-grams, 3 grams. So this probably makes sense. Let's try another author. Well, drop one, take one. Okay, this one is more interesting. Files via upload, add files via. Yeah, okay, what about this one from the example? So that is a list. Yeah, I'll have to do like a filter or find. If the author is this one. Let's see. Okay, let's compare. Okay, it's different, that's for sure. Request from bump. Rack from 2. Puma from 2. Pull request from. Yeah, doesn't seem. Okay, so there are some digits here and some special characters. So maybe I was too constraining in this regular expression.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can also just replace, like remove words that are made of symbols. Like purely out of non-alphanumeric. So we will keep some like word for all is not alphanumeric. Is that what we do? No, wait. That's a car. Okay, this is digit, is letter or digit. Is there like is punctuation? No. Okay, let's take this is letter or digit. Also, I'm knowingly simplifying and assuming that every word is going to be one character. So every character is going to be one char, because in UTF-8 it might not be. So this might not be an actual character displayed on the screen. So let me get this again. So every char in the word is going to be a letter or digit. That's not what I wanted. That's exactly what I did before.
Yeah.
So it's either a letter or digit. Well, it's not. Okay, so there exists a letter or digit, maybe like that. Okay, that's more like it. Request 4 from, request 3 from, request 2 from. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. We still have dots. That's not what I need. Okay, so what do you think?
But yeah, I think we're going in like right direction.
Okay. So okay, maybe I just delete like explicit punctuations, so the word is not, well, this will be like the set of disallowed words, things like this. Maybe we can also have a question mark, and this does not contain this word. That might be another idea. Contain S. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as what we had before. So I'm not convinced. Also, yeah, I think we didn't do the lowercase thing. We didn't ignore the casing. Yeah, use lowercase. That would be important. So I think I can do that right here. Let's convert everything to lowercase. But it still didn't change the output much.
Yeah, it still didn't remove this dots in between.
Right, okay, so anything that has dots. Okay, so it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be the word contains some of these, then it's just going to be illegal. Or do you think we should keep the word, but with these removed?
I think we can get rid of this.
Any kind of word that has these characters. Okay. So we'll keep. Okay, so filter not, and then like the word contains any of these. So like exists, something like that. So if the word contains any of these characters, we'll remove it. Okay. I'm still not sure why these are not showing up. Maybe we can take a look at more of these, not just
maybe this author has more entries in the file than just one.
But no, in the output they should only have one entry, so that's what we're looking at. And we are grouping all the commits, I think. So we have
By the authors, by the way. Okay. Okay, so we do this.
Yeah, we take all the commits as a flat list, and then we group that by the author. And then on the values, we take just the messages as a list. Okay, how many commits does this author have? So I guess I can go back one step. We print that. I'm going to get with the author, that's their name. And that's going to give me something big. Okay, non-empty list of strings. These are the messages. Yeah, that's going to be probably long, but let's just print it anyway. Okay, not very long. Okay. Merge per request. Okay, what if I do convert on this? So M, we know the author. That's the author. And then can I do this? And also I need to print this. Well, that's our output, right? So okay, and expect a result. There's a merge per request, and it's the first one. But how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3. And then we have request for from. Request for from. There's only one of these. So it doesn't make sense that it would be here before the merge thing. So it's probably something in the top n-grams logic, I think. Oh, yeah, I think I know what it's about. So we are sorting based on the keys. Yeah, I totally botched this part. So we have the n-grams. We group them, and now I should do the sorting based on the values, because that's where the amounts are. And I did this based on the keys. So I think I'll go to list now, and now do something like sort by. We have the key and the value. I think I don't need the case here. And the value is all the appearances of that n-gram. And I think we want to sort by the size of this. And now I will take the keys. So the first element of this tuple. I don't think I need this. And I think I can just do _2 size. Then the first thing, and this is sorted. We can do the reverse and the take now. I think that will be closer to the truth. Okay, merge per request is the first one. That seems closer to the truth. Request to from. Okay, what's this? Rack from 207? Dump rack from 207. There's just one of these, so I guess it might be arbitrary that these showed up here.
Yeah. Let me just double check that quickly. There's one lie I told you, because I told you that we can, if the word contains dots, we can skip that. But we actually want to remove the dots, but keep the word. Okay. So,
okay. Yeah, that's simple enough. So we'll have to map the words, I think, so that the words. Let's see. We'll filter the letters here based on the set. Maybe like with a not. Okay. Yeah, we can filter like this, or we could, again, like transform it with some regular expression. But yeah, so if we split by lines, okay. We remove the characters, and now I think we need to check if there's like, if this is still non-empty, so just filter not trim strip is empty, and maybe that will be it. Right, it's 207. Why is there a dot? Why is there a dot still? Filter.
Because we didn't remove them.
Wait. I'm not sure why it wasn't removed, but might be just tired. So we have the word, and I'm filtering the word, removing the characters. Oh, these are strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, this needs to be this characters. That's actually very nasty of the compiler, and I think just this would be enough to avoid that. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's much better. There's still a difference here, but I guess this is, again, like an arbitrary choice because all of these appear just once.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's fine.
Okay, and yeah, I think the final step would be to write these to a file. Do we need to produce a file? We need to produce a file. So we have these lines. Okay. The question is, what do we use for CSV? And I think I will just sort of roll my own renderer for CSV, because writing CSV is easier than reading it, just like with pretty much any format. So I think I'll just need something like render line. Wait, that's not it. Output line, it would be output line. And that's going to be a string. I will also need something like render heading. That can be just a string. File heading. And this could be, well, I can just steal this.
Yeah.
It's dirty, but we can also do something else. This is Markdown, right? I don't need this in the actual file contents. Another way to do this would be to have like a list of like author and so on. Yeah, let's do that. And now map them so that each of these strings has a tick in front of it. I guess a single quote in front of it. And then make string a space. Technically, this isn't CSV, right? This is TSV, or like space separated. Or do you actually want them to be comma separated?
Yeah, it can be TSV or whatever is fine.
Right, I'll do comments. So this is all single quoted, and now render line. Yeah, I guess the simplest way. Well, okay, we will have first the author name, and then the n-grams, and I'll just do the whole rendering in line. So n-gram will be the words separated by spaces, and that will be quoted. Just like that. I think I missed a quote. So that is quoted, and we will make string on the whole thing with a comma. Could extract some extra stuff here, but yeah, maybe some like columns, then columns, make string. Okay. So we have render line, we have the heading, and I guess it's time that we render the whole thing. So I guess I'll do that just here. So rendered. Because we have a list, we know if it's a large list and the rendering is expensive, we could do this again in a streaming way, but I think we can keep that sort of in memory. So first we will have the file heading, and then, well, it's a list, I can do it this way. Then we're gonna have the lines mapped with render line. And this whole thing, this is going to be lines, so I will do make string with a new line character. We could be like extra fancy in the system line separator, but I want everyone to use these lines, so I'll do it. And once we have that, I'm also the kind of person who adds a final new line to every file, so I'll do that this way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it's just a matter of writing this. So I'll again use fs2 files and write all. And let's write to, okay, maybe let's call this input path. In a proper app, this would be like a parameter to the application or something. Or we could take standard input. And on the output, let's say ngrams CSV. And we'll write there. What's the next thing? Okay, the editor doesn't tell me. There is no next thing. That's all we need. And that's a pipe, an fs2 pipe of bytes to nothing. So I'll need to convert my string to a stream. Let's just emit with one element. And I need to encode this. So fs2 text, UTF-8 encode. That probably is deprecated as well. Yeah, it's just it doesn't tell me that. Well, this code. Encode. And now through files, write all. And I think this is it. Compile drain so that we get an AO. And we could run that. Let me just combine all the things on this top level. We stopped at this iterable of output lines. So at this point, I think it's just like write lines. Almost. Because we have an iterable, so we will do two lists here. Come on. Okay. Some of these things obviously don't belong here. Like we basically mixed all the code together and there's no separation of concerns. But yeah, time constraints. Straight around that.
That's totally fine.
So we have the file here. And yeah, it looks okay-ish. But I think, yeah, there's a mistake here. There's no quotes around the author name. I will define a utility just so that I can flex the fact that we have extension functions now. Extension on a string is going to be def quoted. And we're just going to do s like that. I should be able now to do quoted like that. Then again for the author and also the columns here. Let's run that again. That should overwrite the file. And it did. And it seems fine. Okay, let's find this this special author again, but it should be what we saw before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the title, I am not sure if like the first line needs to be anything special, but this seems okay.
No, that's fine. Okay. Looks like we got that. Well done. Just last question to sum up. In the production app, if you would like to make this a production application, what would you change? What kind of changes would you make to have a good sleep at night?
Yeah, so plenty of changes. First of all, I would have tests for most of that, like rendering, grouping logic. I think it might have even saved us some time in the debugging here if I had the tests first. Well, if I did have the tests first, it would definitely save time. But if maybe even writing them would be more efficient than trying to find it. Probably I would make some things configurable so that we could change them more easily than having to change the code. Like the 5 number is a bit hard coded, both in the name of a variable and here in the actual variable, the actual number. The length of 3, same thing. It could be like a global variable, even like a global constant, would still be easier to change than like looking for it in the middle of the code. Well, we could split the code a little bit, like data structure wise. We could have some sort of core domain types that would be different from the types that we used for the decoding of the JSON. Right now, we sort of reuse the same types for everything, and they're very heavily inspired by the structure of the file and not by how we want to deal with these types. For example, having an author inside the commit doesn't make that much sense because I'm dealing with commits as a sort of property of an author, so they could be part of like an author object. Additionally, like the configuration of where we read from, where we write to, what else? The logic for the punctuation could probably be improved, and it might not be very performant right now with this filtering based on a set. Everything is public. There are no like internal methods, like private methods, so it's easy to use everything, which is sort of a downside because we are doing like everything like we want to. There's no encapsulation, no separation of concerns, and I'm sure I could find more of these. But yeah, these are the ones that are the first things I notice. And of course, this runs like you run it from the command line, so there's no user interface, so you cannot easily trigger this from like a web application. There's no endpoint, no interface that could be accessible by a user if they don't have a terminal.
Yeah, so, sure. All right. I'm glad you made this. You solved this tricky question, this tricky coding challenge. So looks like it works fine. And yeah, thanks for participating in the interview. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you also learned something about engrams for sure. And yeah, it was a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise, it was a pleasure. Even though the task was a bit complex, I enjoyed this. So thank you for having me. I hope I get this job.
Yeah, I'll be submitting the feedback in this video as well. So
sure.
All right, lovely. Thanks, Jacob, and see you on your channel soon.
Yeah, thanks. See ya.
Bye.
Okay, so there is no proper interview process without the feedback. So my feedback for Jakub would be extremely positive. Not only he answered all my questions, but he also extended these answers. In the coding part, he did extremely well. He guided me through his solution. He was moving step by step. He was explaining everything he was doing. He knew the APIs of the libraries he was using, and he also knew what kind of improvements he could make if he was to deliver this code to production. So I would definitely hire Jakub, and hope you enjoyed the interview. If you have any questions or would like to see more of these videos here on this channel, drop a comment down below. See you soon.